So setting powder is one of the easiest way to make your skin and your makeup in general look polished, but it's also one of the quickest ways to make you look older. And I feel like what's really frustrating is that most people feel like they're doing the right thing. They're stopping creases, they're trying to stop shine, and that's the only way you're going to be able to do that, right? By using powder, which is kind of right. But a lot of the things and certain placement of the powder can end up making you look older and can do the opposite. Like all of the things you're trying to hide all of a sudden become even more exaggerated through the day in a different kind of way. So you may have stopped creasing, but you've probably enhanced texture and you've probably made the fine lines already there just look more obvious. And that doesn't necessarily mean creasing. So creasing is not the only way that makes you look older. Like creasing is one thing that we're trying to stop. But if you have fine lines and wrinkles that are already there and the powder just makes it look even more obvious, then you might as well just be creased, right? So today I'm going to talk you through the most common powder mistakes people make. This is educational, informative, and you might want to get a notepad to just make some notes. And I'm going to tell you what you need to do instead so that you don't struggle with the powder. If you like this type of educational content, please do hit the like button, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell button because it means you won't miss my next video, which is going to be equally, if not more, educational for you. The first mistake that people make is using too much powder. This is probably the biggest mistake. Most people are not using the wrong powder, they're just using too much of it. Powder is meant to stabilize the areas that move or get shiny. It's not meant to like cover the entire face. The second you apply too much powder and cover the entire face with it, it starts doing a few things. It starts to make fine lines more obvious. It starts to make pores look more obvious. It enhances texture and it enhances any dryness that may already be there but not necessarily visible to the eye when the powder's not there. And that's ultimately what ends up making your skin look older rather than smoother. What you need to do instead is use less powder and use it only in the areas that you need it. So for example, if you have fine lines that crease a lot on your under eye area, then yes, I would say use the powder there, but again, a small amount. So the ideal way to do this would be to apply your concealer foundation, to then let the product sit for a couple of minutes. You're then going to get the tip of your beauty blender, nothing on it. It can be dry or damp, that's up to you. And then you're going to basically press along on top of the creasing. So anywhere that the creases have started to develop. What that's going to do is the sponge is going to absorb any of the excess product that's sitting there. You're kind of smoothing out the creases. You're taking the product out of those fine lines and wrinkles. Then you're going to immediately get a brush, dip it into your powder, make sure there's not too much powder on the brush. I always dip onto a tissue before I dip onto the face, or on your hand before you go onto your face. And then you're going to press the powder in to those areas. So you're always going to kind of fix those creases first before you apply the powder, and then you're going to set it. And the same goes for things like your fine line. So anywhere that you have that area that you really, that moves a lot and you don't want the product to move around with it, that's where you're going to apply the powder. And anywhere that you have shine that you don't want shine, you're going to press powder in those areas, but you've got to really keep it to a minimum. So not a lot of powder. If you deal with very oily skin, then obviously you can use a different technique of your application, such as get a puff, press the powder into the skin. But again, you're going to make sure you get the powder onto the puff. You're going to smooth the puff in the palm of the hand, and then you're going to press onto the face so that you're not applying powder in one go, right? You shouldn't really see a lot of powder on the skin when you first apply it. The second mistake is kind of like connects onto what I'm talking about already, is you're not going to apply powder in the areas that you don't actually need it. So what happens is we tend to just end up applying it everywhere because you kind of think, well, that's the easiest thing to do, when actually that really affects how your skin looks later in the day. So like I said, stick to the areas that move around a lot and maybe too shiny and you don't want that shine to be, but don't apply it to the areas that you're actually okay with, right? Don't apply it at all. Or if you really still want to apply it because you want to lock your makeup in, then make sure you get something like a big brush like this and dip it into the powder. Really get the powder onto a tissue or the back of your hand so that there's not a lot left on here. You're then going to very lightly press into the areas and then leave it at that. That should be enough. You really should need the minimal amount of powder ever. Like, you shouldn't need a lot. And again, a lot of that depends on your skin type as well. But the point that I'm trying to make is don't apply it everywhere. You don't need it everywhere. Normally, people apply it everywhere out of habit, like I said, because it just makes it easier. Not every part of your face actually needs to be set. If you're applying powder on every inch of your face, you're basically flattening the entire area. And flat makeup always looks older. So let me give you an example. If I were you, I would powder only under the eyes, around the nose, on the chin if necessary, and center of forehead if necessary. Those are kind of like, if you think about it, all those areas are more along the center of the face. The perimeter of the face, I don't think needs powder. Like, I don't currently have powder on the perimeter of my face. You can kind of see that slight shine coming through too. That's okay, because it adds more dimension and shape to my face. If I had powder everywhere, everything would look very flat and there wouldn't be much dimension to my face. Now, again, this next one kind of ties in with the first one that I was talking about. So this next one is basically powdering without removing creases first. It's really important that you remove your creases first before you go in with the powder. Otherwise, what you're doing is actually fixing creases. So you're making it worse. You're actually locking in those creases, and it's just going to look worse and worse and worse through the day. So it's always important, and this is a non-negotiable, remove the creasing before you apply the powder. Easiest way to do that, like I said, is get your sponge and kind of take out the creases. Look up and you should be able to really get into that area there, which is usually where you would crease more. You can, if you want, even use your finger if you don't want to use a sponge. Like, use your little finger, just kind of press. I always feel like it's easier using the tip of a sponge because the finger can end up distorting the other areas of the under eye maybe and leave fingerprints. So personally, I would always say use a sponge. I talk a lot about this kind of stuff over on thebeautybreakfastclub.com. So I'd really love you to head on over there and try it out. Just type it in. Type it in, have a look at it on your desktop or even on your phone and see if you like what you see. And I can guarantee there's going to be some kind of headline that stands out to you that you're going to want to read. There are newsletters on there every other day without fail, consistently. I write everything myself, and it's with a lot of heart and a lot of kind of passion and love that I put into it because I want to solve problems for people. I want people to be able to go there and kind of get everything they need when it comes to primarily beauty, a little bit of fashion, some wellness, because that's important to me too nowadays, and kind of mindset, health, hair, you know, so you're going to find everything there. There's even an over 40 section because that's something I really feel strongly about because I'm obviously 45. So I want people to be able to get all the answers. Things change when you're in your 40s. So I really wanted to be able to cater for the over 40s too. So it's free to subscribe, and that gives you access to one newsletter every 5 to 10 days. It's either going to show you the full newsletter or show you a clip and then you can pay to read the rest of it. There's a free one so that you don't have to unlock anything every 5 to 10 days, like I said. If you actually go for the paid version, it means that it unlocks the entire site, and it only costs the same as getting yourself one coffee a month. And it's also a way for you guys to support what I do and all the information I put out for you. So it is an amazing place. I think you're going to love it. It's been going for a couple of years, and we've got around 8,000 people as part of the community now. Over 8,000, sorry. The paid version unlocks the entire site, so everything is there for you to read. But it also means that you get to join the group chat on the platform, which is where you're going to meet like-minded people. Everyone is so nice and friendly, and you also get to ask me questions directly. So yeah, I want to see you over there. So it is thebeautybreakfastclub.com. The next one is baking under the eyes. I don't know if you've actually heard me go on about this because I have gone on about it quite a lot, but I cannot stand baking. I feel like there is a very different version of baking that I like, which is the no bake bake. And that for me is when you don't leave the powder sitting there at all. You put it on, you dust it off immediately. That's my version of baking, and I think that is the best way. It's basically applying your powder with a puff and dusting it off immediately. Most people let it sit there and bake. I'm like, no way, that should not be done. It's really, honestly, the fastest way to make yourself look older and to enhance all of the texture and the fine lines on your under eye area. It's a complete no-go, in my opinion. Basically what that's doing, the baking is forcing the powder into the delicate part of your under eye, the mobile part of your face. So basically the area that moves so much because of impressions or expressions, sorry, you are basically forcing the powder in there, and it's going to end up stiffening up, which then makes everything look older. It doesn't make your under eye look younger. Full stop. It makes it look drier, older, and tighter in the wrong kind of way. Let me tell you what I like to do. It's called the no bake bake. And what that means is you can basically use your usual puff like you would do when you're baking, get it into the powder, but put it into the palm. So you've pressed the powder into the puff. There's not a lot of powder. You shouldn't be able to see a whole load go on your face. You're then going to press, after you've removed your creases, press it there. You're then going to get a brush immediately and dust it off. You don't let it sit there. That's the no bake bake. It gives you the smoothness and locks everything in without the dryness. If you've already got dry skin, a powder isn't going to help you, but ultimately you still want to lock everything in, right? So I'm not saying don't use powder at all, but I would say use this method because it will work better for you. Use your powder, very, very small amount, minimal, and use a brush, not baking, because if you've got dry skin, you really want to stay away from baking full stop, like even the no bake bake. I would use a brush to press the powder in wherever you need it. I would then get a setting spray, not because it sets, because it melts the powder a bit. And I would spray that all over your face, and that's going to melt the powder so it doesn't look so dry. That's the best way to set makeup for a person with dry skin or very mature skin. The other mistake is people applying powder with too much pressure. You're distorting everything and disturbing everything underneath. All that hard work you've put in to make your base look amazing, you're just going to end up ruining it all. It's a subtle mistake, but it does matter. If you're dragging and grinding powder into the skin, you're just disturbing everything underneath. Ultimately, that can actually create patchiness on the skin. So if you see those things popping up later in the day, it's probably because of that. What you want to do is use a very soft press and release motion. So whether you're using a puff or a brush, you want to use a very soft pressure and release, right? That's what you want to do. The speed is up to you. You can do that fast, but it's soft press and release. That's all you're doing, press and release. You don't want to rub, swirl, grind into the skin or overload your skin. That's not what you want to do. I just want to also add another mistake I see is people using the wrong type of tool. I will not say that you can use any brush because I feel like some brushes are just far too stiff and thick and tough for powder application. You need something light and airy. And I would also change the shape of it and the size of it based on where you're applying it. Usually that's only 2 sizes that you need. One, I would say, is a large powder brush. Soft and airy. This is the best one in my opinion because you get the other side as well, which is actually a really good size for kind of bronzer or cheekbone kind of definition. Or you could even use this for the under eye area. I still think it's a little bit big, but it's good for like bronzer or blush or anything. This side is great for pressing powder into the skin, right, on larger surface areas. The only other one I would say you'd need, these 2 brushes for powder, that's it, is this one here, which is the Real Techniques setting brush. This is absolutely amazing for the under eye. It's the best brush you are ever going to use for your under eye, hands down. Another big mistake that I see people making is using powder throughout the day to fix oil issues or shine issues. It's such a big mistake, honestly, and I feel like this is actually something that's quite common. You might get shine through the day, right, but people end up using things like these powders through the day because they're like, okay, I need to just keep removing the shine. You're not removing it. By applying a powder throughout the day on top of just because of shine, then what you're doing is basically applying more product and it's building up and it's creating more texture and more cakiness. And ultimately, that's when makeup starts to look thick and tired through the day. What I would do, which is what I currently do, is if I have any shine, I keep tissues in my bag nicely and neatly folded up. Like this, soft tissues, not the kitchen tissues, not the kitchen towels. They have like an imprint on them. You want a soft tissue like this. And then what I do is I actually just wrap it around my 2 middle fingers, and then the outer fingers are holding it in place. And then I just press. And this is the best thing you can do for shine through the day because what it's doing is lifting off any shine. Right? I can already see that there's some product on there, right? It's lifting it off. You're not adding anything. So all you're doing is blotting the shine, and that's it. You do not want to be adding more makeup to your face if you're dealing with shine. Okay, so the next mistake that I would say I see people making a lot is overpowdering a very creamy or luminous base. There was literally no point in creating a luminous base if you're going to end up powdering it and just flattening everything. What was the point then of that? So if you really want a luminous base and you're using a luminous finish foundation, strategic placement of powder is even more important then because you want to keep that luminosity that you've got from that foundation. Right? You only want to powder the areas that you struggle with staying put through the day and are creasing and maybe shine that you don't want. So for example, through the center, I would leave everything else as it is because otherwise what you're doing is just completely contradicting the first step of foundation completely. So yeah, that's another thing. The other mistake I feel like people make is they assume powder equals longevity. And that is the case in certain aspects, but let me explain. Powder can increase longevity, but it really is dependent on how much you use and your placement of it. So if you put too much powder on, like I've mentioned throughout, it's going to end up too heavy, too dry, and can end up actually breaking up what's underneath. So it can end up looking patchy. Longevity ultimately comes from thin layers. So everything underneath needs to be thin layers. Good placement of your powder, removing excess, so removing any creases before you actually apply your powder, and strategic setting, I would say. Not just piling powder on top and that's it, and hoping for the best. Honestly, if you feel like powder is aging your makeup, it's probably not even the powder, it's probably the amount that you're applying, the placement, and maybe not removing excess before you've applied the powder. Have I already said this? But too much powder. Ultimately, powder should make your face look smoother and help with longevity. It shouldn't give you anything other than that, right? So I hope this has all made sense and it is informative, and I hope you've made your notes because honestly, it's something I feel like these are things that people need to know about powder because Sometimes we just see powder and we think it's there to lock everything in and then that's it. But there is a very, very clever strategic way to use it to get the best out of it. And I hope that you do that. So I'm really excited about the next video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Don't forget that you can head on to my description and there will actually be a link that can take you to my Shop My, which has all the products I recommend. There's different shelves, different categories. You're going to love it. So yeah, check that out while you're at it, and I will see you on the next video.